Hi, today we're looking at Functional Skills Maths Entry Level 3. We've got the City and Guilds exam board and we're looking at the hairdressing and barbering paper. And we're going to start with the non-calculator section. Okay, question 1. Work out 94 times 9. Okay, so two main ways of doing this. You can use the column method or the method I'm going to use, which is the grid method. So this is to show I'm doing times, so we're doing 90. So I'm going to split the 90 into the tens, the 90 bit and the 4, and we're going to multiply that by 9. Okay, so we can say, well, what's 9 times 9? So we've got 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81. So put that in here. But then we've got the 0, so we can put the 0 on the end. Now we've got 9 times 4, or 4 times 9, whichever you're more comfortable with. So if we do 4 times 9, we've got 9, 18, 27, 36. So now we need to add these two together. So we've got 810 and 36. So 0 plus 6 is 6, 1 plus 3 is 4, 8 plus nothing is 8. So we've got 846. Question 2. Write 743 in numbers. So we've got 700, 4 tens and 3 units. 743. Question 3. What is the next number in this sequence? So we've got 44, 58, 72, 86, and then the next number. A good way to start with these is to look at what the difference is between each of these numbers. So let's have a look at the difference between these numbers first of all. And if we want the difference between them, we take the bigger number and subtract the smaller. So 8 take away 4, we'll do 7, 6, 5, 4. 5 take away 4. That's going to be 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're left with 14. So this difference, so what we're doing here is we're adding on 14. So what we want to do is to see, well, is that the same gap here? So we could do 72 minus 58 to find the difference again. But actually, what might be simpler than doing a subtraction is to say, well, let's assume that it is adding 14 on each time. So if we start with 58, I'll do it over here, 58. And let's try adding on 14. And see if that's going to get us to 72. Well, 8 plus 4 is going to be 9, 10, 11, 12. So 2 carry the 1. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus another 1 is 7. So yeah, that does give us 72. So this is adding on 14 each time. So we could check it with this number again, but if these have added on 14 and this is added on 14, I'm going to assume this is adding on 14 as well. So I'm just going to say, well, let's take 86, add 14 to it. Well, 6 plus 4, so we start with 6, and we've got 7, 8, 9, 10. Carry the 1. 8 plus 1 is 9, add another 1 is 10. So we get an answer of 100. Okay, and then question 4 we got here. What is £638.46 or £638.46p rounded to the nearest 10p? Right, so this is the pence, this is the bit we're interested in. Well, 46 is going to be between 40p and 50p. So we want to know which one it's closest to. Okay, and we can think, well, halfway between the two would be 45p. This is 46p, so it's this side, so it's going to be closer to 50p. So it's going to be £638, 50 pence. Question 5. Write these weights in the correct order. Start with the lightest. Okay, so we've got 600 grams, 1 kilogram, 570 grams, 760 grams. So we've got 3 in grams, 1 in kilograms. So what we want to do with this first of all is write this in grams. Well, I know that 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So, and I can clearly see that 1,000 is bigger than anything in the hundreds. So I'm going to put that one right in here. But I'm going to put it as 1 kilogram because that's how they gave it. Instead of 1,000 grams, I'll put 1 kilogram. So now we need to sort these 3 numbers. Well, we've got 600 and something, 500 and something, 700 and something. Well, 500 and something is going to be the smaller. Then 600 and something. And I'm saying 600 and something because the something bit doesn't matter. The fact that if we just compare the hundreds, we've got 5, 6, 7. So whatever the bits, the tens and the units are, it doesn't matter. It would matter if the hundreds were the same, but because they're different, we can just use those to rank them. Okay, question 6. Subtract 467 from 738. So it's from 738, which means this is our starting point. From that, we're subtracting 467. So 8 minus 7, or we can count up. From 7 to 8, it's just 1. So we're at 3 minus 6. Well, we can't take 6 away from 3, because 6 is bigger than 3. What we can do is reduce the 7 to a 6. Pass 1 over here to make that 13. So now we've got 13 minus 6. So if we count back 6 from 13, we've got 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And 6 minus 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. So we're left with 271. Okay, question 7. Tick all the right-angled triangles. Okay, so, well, I know a triangle has got 3 sides. So this one hasn't got 3 sides, so it can't be that. This hasn't got 3 sides. Can't be that. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's not a triangle. That's got 5 sides, that's not a triangle. And that's not a triangle. Okay, so I'm left with only 1, 2, 3 and 4 options. And a right angle, that means that I've got 2 lines meeting at a corner like that. I will often draw a square in to show that we've got a right angle there. Now you could use a protractor, or actually if you've got a ruler, you can see is this corner going to fit in the angles anywhere? So looking at this triangle, well, it doesn't fit in that angle, doesn't fit in that angle, doesn't fit in that angle, so it's not that one. This triangle here, well actually yeah, my ruler fits in quite nicely here. So we've got a right angle triangle. In fact, I'm going to draw that in to show. So that's one. What about these 2? Well, again, this isn't quite the same as the angle I've drawn up there, but let's check with the ruler again. No, we can't fit that corner inside it, nor on that side. And if we try up at the top, no, that doesn't work. We've got one last one to try here. Well, this is looking very similar to what I've drawn up there. And if I can see that, yeah, it's fitting in my ruler's fitting inside it. So we've got 2 right angle triangles there. But the trick here is the triangles bit, because it would be very easy to say, oh, I've got right angles here, which you have, but it's a rectangle, it's not a triangle. Okay, question 8. A barber needs to display a new range of hair conditioner. Hair conditioner is sold in different amounts. He wants to display the conditioner in order, starting with the largest amount. So this is similar to the weight question we had before, but this time we want the largest or the biggest number first. So we've got 450 millilitres, 130 millilitres, 1 litre, 250 millilitres, and 750 millilitres. So again, we've got some which are using the same units, millilitres. This one's in litres. But I know that 1 litre is 1,000 millilitres. And I can see these are all in hundreds. This is 1,000, so this is going to be the biggest one. So I'm going to start with the 1 litre. If you write it as 1,000 millilitres, you'd still get the mark, but I'd like to write it in the way that it was presented to me. So we've done this one. Which one's next? Well, we've got 400 and something, 100 and something, 200 and something, and 700 and something. Well, 7's bigger than 2, 1 and 4, so it's going to be the 750. That one's done. Then 4's bigger than 1 and 2, so it'll be 450 millilitres. And then we've got 250, which is going to be bigger than 130. And there we go. Question 9. This graph shows the number of appointments for different hair services at a hairdresser's last week. Okay, so these are the different hair services. You can have a perm, a restyle, full head colour, cut and blow dry, or a dry cut. And this is the number of appointments we had. So if we look at something like a perm would read down to here. So there were about 10, maybe just over 10 appointments for a perm. Restyle, there was probably, almost 40, maybe like 35, something like that. So that's how we can try and read it. And the actual question is, which 2 hair services had the least number of appointments? So that means what are the 2 shortest bars? And I'm going to use my ruler. So which is the first bar we reach the end of? Well, it's this one here. And the next one is going to be this one here. So down here we can put perm and full head colour. And if you don't understand what all of these terms mean, it doesn't matter. We're just looking at the graph, we're looking for the least, so the shortest bars, and we're writing the names down here. Question 10. A barber needs to order a hairdryer. He sees these hairdryers on a website. He wants the hairdryer with the longest cable. Okay, and we've got the length of cable given here. So A is 2.5 metres, B is 3.0 metres, C is 2.75 metres, and D is 3.3 metres. Okay, which hairdryer should the barber choose? Right, so you may be able to just look at the numbers and compare them straight off. If not, what can help, especially when we've got decimals, is to write the numbers one above the other. So we've got 2.75. This can be particularly useful when you've got a different number of decimal places. What we can do, so that we've got something to compare, we can just put zeros in as placeholders. Okay, and in fact, we can ignore those decimal points because they've all got the same number of decimal places, so we can just treat these as 250, 300, 275, and 330. We're not saying that they're the same value, we're just saying for comparison purposes, it's exactly the same as if we were comparing these numbers. Now, if we want the one with the longest cable, well, which is the biggest number? Well, 300 is more than 250, 300 is also more than 275, but actually 330 is even more than 300. So we want this one here, which is 3.3 metres. And that's the end of the non-calculator section. Okay, so now we're on to the calculator section of the paper. Okay. Question 1. Round 672 to the nearest 100. So you can think about, it's hundreds, so I'm going to look at the digit after the hundreds and see whether it's more or less than 5. Or you can, I think more straightforward, is just say, well, we've got 672. Well, the 100 below it would be 600, and the 100 above it would be 700. And right in the middle would be 650. So 672 is going to be somewhere in here. Basically, it's going to be to the right of 650. So it's going to be closer to 700 than it is to 600. Question 2. What is the next number in this sequence? All right, so we saw something similar in the non-calculator section. And what we did was we worked out what the difference was between the first two numbers by subtracting the smaller from the larger one. We can do the same here. So we're going to do 20.5 minus 19.2. And that means that what we're doing is we're adding on 1.3. And we can check that we're doing the same here as well. So if we do 21.8 minus 20.5, we get 1.3 again that's being added on. So we need to do exactly the same thing. Start with 21.8, add on 1.3, and we get 23.1. Question 3. Which one of these diagrams below shows this arrow, this one here, after a 3/4 turn clockwise? Tick 1. Well, clockwise is going to be going around this way. And if it's 3/4, well, 1/4 would be to there, another quarter would be to there, and a third quarter would be pointing out this way, which looks like C. Okay, try and fit all of that on there. Question 4. A woman needs to make an appointment with the hairdresser. She wants a cut and blow dry for long hair. She checks the price list. So we've got J&J Hairdressing. So we've got a dry cut is £17, wash and cut is £20, cut and blow dry, it depends if your hair's short or long. You've got a restyle, blow dry, again depends on if you've got short or longer hair, it costs more for longer hair. And wash, cut and style, £28. Now, it says, what will the cost be? Okay, so let's remind ourselves what we want. She wants a cut and blow dry for long hair. So here's cut and blow dry. And it's for long hair. So it's going to be £35, which we can write down here. And for part B, we're given extra information. The hairdresser makes her appointment for 11:20 a.m. The hairdresser allows 45 minutes for a cut and blow dry. What time can the hairdresser make an appointment for the next customer? Use AM or PM with your answer. So in other words, we want to know if he starts at 11:20, it takes 45 minutes, how long's, or what time will it be when he's finished? Okay, so let's see, if we've got 60 minutes in 1 hour, well, if we're already 20 minutes into an hour, if we do 60 minus 20, that means we've got 40 minutes left. Okay, so from 11:20 to 12 o'clock, I'm going to go to the next round time. We're adding on 40 minutes. Okay. We actually want to add on 45 minutes. So if we've already added on 40 minutes, if we add an extra 5, we're just going to add it on at the end. So it's going to be 12:05. Okay, so just to go over that, I've broken it down. I've said it's 40 minutes to the next hour, but we need an extra 45, so we've still got 5 minutes in the next hour. Now, it was 11:20 a.m., but this would be midday. And once we reach midday, we need to add PM. Question 5. A hairdresser uses pieces of foil when highlighting a client's hair. Each piece of foil must be cut 30 centimetres long. They're showing us what the foil looks like. She asks a trainee to work out how many pieces can be cut from this roll of foil and how much foil will be left over. There is 500 centimetres of foil on this roll. And the question is, what will the trainee tell her? So we need the number of pieces she can cut and how much will be left over. Right, so the key bits of information are that we need the pieces to be 30 centimetres long, and we're starting off with 500 centimetres in total. So what we want to know is how many 30 centimetres fit into 500. In other words, what's 500 divided by 30? And we get 16.66, keep going. Okay, so the number of pieces of foil they're going to get, the full pieces of foil, will be 16. Okay, so I can write that down here. How much is going to be left over? Well, what I'm actually going to do is say, well, if we've got 16 pieces and they're 30 centimetres each, that's going to be 480 centimetres used up. Now, if we go back to the original, we had 500, but we're only using 480. So if we take that off, we end up with 20 centimetres, which we can put down here. Okay, we're still carrying on with this question, question 5. We've got the hairdresser tells the trainee to cut the lengths of foil. The trainee needs to measure out the lengths of foil first. And part B, which one of the following measuring instruments would be best for the trainee to use? Tick 1. Well, we know that it's 30 centimetres we want to measure out. Let's see, these are our 4 options. Well, this is in inches. We want centimetres, so that's not going to be useful. This is in centimetres, and it goes all the way up to 30. So this is looking quite good at the moment. But let's just check on the others. So this is in inches again. Tells us 16 inches, so that's no good. What about D? This is in centimetres, but it only goes up to 15. So if we want 30, we'd need to use 2 of these. So really, that's going to be our best one. Because it does say which of the following instruments would be best. So it's not saying could you use the others, because you could, but this yellow one here is going to be the easiest one to use. Okay, question 6. A barber is planning to open a new barber's shop. He starts to draw a plan to show where he wants the chairs and basins to go. So here's a chair, there's a basin. So they have the basin behind the chair so you can wash your hair in it. He needs another chair and basin drawn on the plan. They need to be drawn along the wall and the same distance apart as the other chair and basin. So this is what we've got so far. So this is our plan of the barber's shop. Big entrance up here. You come in, you've got 2 chairs here, 2 basins so far, and it said they're going to add a third chair and basin. And they're saying complete the plan to show where the chair and basin will go. Put labels on your diagram. Right, so we basically need to draw another chair and basin, but over here. So what I'm going to do the basin first because it's against the wall. And the way I'm going to work out where to put it is by working out what distance we've got on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 squares there. So if we do 7 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to start in that corner, and the basin is 1, 2, 3, 4 squares across, and 1, 2, 3, 4 squares up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, So I'll get my ruler, make it nice and tidy. Okay, so this is our basin. Now for the chair, what's the gap between the chairs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And actually you can see it sticks out one square either side of the basin, which is the same as here. Okay. Now, instead of counting how high it is, I just know it's going to be in line with here and up to the same height as the other chairs. So up to there. And this one will be the same. And this is the chair. Okay. And that's our drawing done. Okay, question 7. The barber needs to order 3 chairs and 3 basins. The chairs cost £328.85 each. What will he pay for all of the chairs he needs? So we've got £328.85 and we want 3 of them. So we're going to multiply it by 3. Remember, we can use our calculator. So 328.85 times 3. Now you can type it into your calculator either way round. You can put 3 times first or 328.85 first. You'll get the same answer, which is £986.55p. Now because we've got the pound sign, we don't put the p afterwards. Part B. Use approximation to check your answer. Okay, well, what we can do is we can say £328.85. Well, that's, if we wanted to round it, we could say, well, what about if we round it to the nearest 10? Okay, so 328.85. Well, that's close-ish to 330. Because we'd ignore the decimal points. We'd just say these are the 10s, 28. 8's more than 5, so we'd round up to 330. So we've rounded that. That's the approximating bit, but we still need 3 of them. So if we multiply it by 3, 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 3 is 9. So we get £990, okay, which is approximately equal to £986.55. It's only a few pounds out. So that's a fine check for approximation. Okay. Oh, nearly missed this one. Okay. The barber checks the prices of basins on a website. The price of this basin is £324. There is a special offer for today only. All prices reduced. Pay only 1/3 of the price. What will the cost of the basin be today? So if we're paying 1/3, we can say we want 1/3 of 324, which is the same as 324 divided by 3. Again, we can use a calculator, and that gives us £108, which we can write in here. The barber needs to order 3 basins today. What will the barber pay today for the basins he needs? Well, if he wants 3 of them, it's going to be 3 lots of 108. I've already got 108 in my calculator, times 3, 324. Which is, in fact, what we started with. Because if you remember, we only paid 1/3 of the price, but if we want 3 of them, so we've divided by 3, we want 3 of them, we're multiplying back up by 3, so we get back to where we started, which is fine. Okay. So we're getting 3 basins for the cost of 1. Question 8. A man has this appointment. So if we look at the appointment here, we've got Saturday, the 15th of February at 1:15 p.m, so in the afternoon, and he's getting highlights done. He arranges to meet his friend afterwards. The highlights will take 2 hours and 30 minutes. Which of these times should he tell his friend to meet him? Right, well, we're adding 2 hours on. So the 1 plus 2 hours is going to take us up to 3 minutes. Sorry, 3 hours. 30 minutes, well, we're starting at 15. So if we do 15, add an extra 30 minutes, it's going to take us up to 45 p.m. Okay. Now we haven't got 3:45 on here because these are all using the 24-hour clock. So if we want to turn it into a 24-hour clock, we need to add 12 hours to the 3. So 3 plus 12 is going to take us up to 15:45. So it's going to be this one here. The cost of the highlights is £54.25p. The man uses these vouchers towards the cost. He pays the rest in cash. So we've got £20 gift voucher and a £15 gift voucher. What amount of cash does he pay? So we're starting with £54.25. We can take the vouchers off one at a time, or what we can do is we can add them together. So if we've got a £20 voucher and a £15 voucher, that's a total of £35. So we can then take £35 off of the original price, which gives us £19.25p. Question 9. A customer wants her hair straightened. She has fine hair. The hair straighteners the hairdresser will use have a temperature control. The hairdresser needs to check the heat styling temperature table to find out which button to press on the temperature control. So if we've got fine hair, this is the temperature setting. Normal hair, this one. Curly hair, this one here. And for thick hair, we've got the highest heat setting, 210 degrees to 240 degrees. Which button should she press? Give units with your answer. Give a reason for your answer. Use the temperatures to help you. Well, she has fine hair, it says at the top. So it's going to be this group or this setting here. Okay, so we've got 150 degrees to 170 degrees. Now, if we look down at the buttons, we've got specific temperatures, whereas these are ranges up here. Well, we want between 150 and 170. Well, 240, that's more than the top end of that, so it can't be that one. 220 is still more than 170, so it can't be that. 200 is still more than 170. 180 is more than 170. But 160, well, it's more than 150, but less than 170. So the button to press is going to be the 160 degrees button, which I've written on there. Okay, and they've asked for a reason. Well, we can say 160 degrees C is the only button which is between 150 degrees C and 170 degrees C. And we can even put more, which is needed for fine hair. You probably wouldn't need to write all of this, but if you're saying that basically 160 degrees is in this range, 150 to 170, that should be enough. Question 10. A woman has an appointment to have her hair coloured. The hairdresser asks a trainee to measure out 50 millilitres of colouring cream. Mark on the measuring jug where the trainee should fill the jug to. Right, well, we've got our numbers on here. Well, this is 50. Well, if you look at these, it's always good to start with the smallest range. So if 10's here, what's 10 actually referring to? Well, it's referring to this line here, the line just below it. So 50 is going to be referring to this. So we want it filled to there. And that should be enough, just an arrow like that. The hairdresser applies the mixture. The customer must wait 30 minutes before the trainee can rinse her hair. The time now is, it shows it on here. So if we look at the small hand, the hour hand, the last hour it passed was 11. So it's 11. Or we can, actually, it's closer to 12. So we can say, well, it's 5, 10, so 10 minutes to 12. Okay, or we could say it's 11 and then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So we could say either 11:50 or 10 to 12. That's what the time is at the moment, okay? What time can the trainee rinse the customer's hair? Well, if they must wait 30 minutes, well, each of these sections is 5 minutes. So if we do 30 divided by 5, that'll tell us how many of these sections we need to move forwards. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the minute hand's going to be pointing here. The hour hand would have moved past the 12 and be on its way to the 1. So the time would be 12 and 5, 10, 15, 20. So 12, 20. And we can assume that that was in the morning. So we could say this is in the afternoon, but they haven't specified. So I'm just going to leave it as 12:20. Okay. If you wanted to do it differently, you could say we've got 11:50 and add 30 minutes on. And a bit like we did before, you say, well, we need just 10 minutes to take us up to 12 o'clock. Then if we've only used 10 minutes, we're going to have 20 minutes left over, which is still going to take us to 12:20. And that's the end of the paper. So hope you found it helpful. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, ask any questions or make any comments you've got, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.